Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's time we talk about some spoilers for The Last of Us Season 2. And if you have not seen it, if you're not all caught up, this may not be the video for you, depending on if you really want to watch it or not, because people are very divisive on this season, just like people were divisive on the Part 2 video game. So go figure. But yeah, if you're not caught up, I'd say go watch those 7 episodes and then come on back and hear what I gotta say. Now that's out of the way. Let's get the cat right out of the bag. Joel Miller, R.I.P. They did it. He is done. He's gone. I won't lie. I did prepare myself like maybe months prior to the premiere of season 2. Like, they might do it. So brace yourself. Try to find some form of peace in that. They're probably going to do it. And they did it. And it crushed me. But it probably would have crushed me a lot more if I hadn't done that. Where I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch anymore. Don't know if I want to. But it is what it is. It fits the narrative of the story. I get it. It probably couldn't have worked in this direction. I guess. Whatever. But thankfully, for me personally, I still did enjoy a handful of these episodes after the fact. And not to mention with the act with more infected action that we've gotten, episode 2 was like an action-packed movie. While the follow-up, the following episodes where you see more of the infected is more like the horror movie territory. Like where they're in the dark, lingering around, and then you don't know which way they're gonna come or whatnot, and it's just more intense in the dark. And I'm just like literally like, holy fuck! Like when Ellie and Dina are in Seattle and they're running like from infected in one episode, and then the next, like they just can't seem to find very much downtime. There's like very little downtime in season 2. Like it's insane. Now, I apologize in advance if I miss anything in the spoiler discussion that people probably want to know what I think about. And if I miss it, and then tell me in the comments, and then I'll share my thoughts there. Now, man, I have to applaud Caitlin Dever, who played Abby. She did awesome. People were anticipating that this poor woman would get so much hate and death threats and yada yada for playing the character, just like the actress who played her in the video game. And thankfully, that doesn't seem the case. Like the most criticism that I've seen online is like where they're like, okay, why isn't she bulked up like how Abby is in the game? That's about it. That's it. And so thankfully, yeah. I mean, like she crushed it. And the fact that I think she was, she struggled with a loss, like where her mom passed away around the time that they're getting ready to film episode 2. And I think she kind of brought that to Abby's rage. And man, I was almost afraid of her. And that's how good she did. Like, no, I don't want to have this woman as an enemy. Like, she's a little frenzy, like the Abby character. So yeah. But oddly enough, people are pushing a lot of hate towards poor Bella Ramsey. Like, what? Like where people where people pop up and do a video each time, like each week when an episode airs, and like, Bella this, I don't like how she, blah, 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 I don't like how she looks, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, you don't realize how annoying you are at this point. I mean, like, it's okay to have an opinion where you're like, yeah, I wouldn't cast her as Ellie or whatever. Okay, but you're taking this way, way further than where it needs to go. I mean, we get it. Shut up. Like, you don't need to jump online and go week to week and say, oh, Bella this, Bella this, Bella that, Bella this, Bella that, blah, 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 blah. We get it. All right. Just shut up. And, like I said, I think the roast stand out in this season. It's definitely Dina. Like she's like my favorite new character in the story. I mean, like Jesse's cool. Like the casting of Jesse, of the actor, is almost spot on from how the Jesse character looks in the game and how the actor looks. Like, wow, that's like spot on. Why isn't anybody talking about that? Like spot on. And as for Pedro Pascal, he needs to get a nomination at least for his portrayal this season. I mean, come on. Like he needs to win an award for it. He needs to win an award. I mean, he did win an award, like for season 1. He needs to win another one. God damn it. Like it needs to happen. But man, like I know there's some like people were heavily criticizing season 2, and there's always like it seems like almost every little thing in each episode is like, nope, that was stupid, that was stupid, that was stupid, that was stupid, this was cool, everything else was stupid. I mean, like there's some valid criticisms there, like one of which is where how Ellie reacts to Dina being pregnant in the show, where they say like how she reacts in the game is better. I kind of agree to that, but I didn't mind how it went down in the show, and people were really taking it being a little dramatic with how they're discussing like, okay, so we're kind of together. Like, are you okay with the fact that I'm gonna be a mom? I mean, can you accept that? Whatever. And then Ellie does say, oh shit, I'm gonna be a dad. I took it as like a corny little joke. Like that's just Ellie being corny, and she thinks she's funnier than, like she thinks she's as funny as she actually is. I feel like, where a joke just comes right out of her mouth. That's how I took it. Everybody else is like, oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I get it. I get, like why you guys feel that way, but it didn't bother me that much. I just thought it was just a corny joke. That's how I took it. As her accepting the fact, like, okay, we're gonna be together, and yeah. I mean, I accept the fact that you're about to have a kid, and then she made a little joke out of it. That's how I took it, but I don't know. And then the way they introduced the spores is pretty damn cool. Where I know people are like, no, it should have been spores from the jump. I get it. But the way they did it here is pretty fucking neat. Where you're like, okay, this is in this, like it's in the hospital, it's underground, it's on like one of the lower levels of like on the floor or whatever, lower floor levels. And they need to keep it contained. So at this point in time, the spores are not getting out of there. Who knows what's going to happen in season 3? So who knows? For right now, it's fine. But I mean, like I feel like the cool addition to the cordyceps roots, like where if you step on one and then it alerts the infected nearby or whatever. Yeah, I mean, like that's a cool addition. I almost wish they had that in the game, where you can almost can't spot them in the game, and you're like, holy fuck, I stepped on one, I gotta get going. Like I hope they, like that would be cool. But yeah, I mean, at least we get it, like in the show, and then they lean into it quite a bit in season 2, where in season 1 they lean into it one time. So it's cool that they were able to, like have more fun with it this season. So that was pretty cool. And oh man. And also I also enjoyed like how in the flashbacks, like with Joel and Ellie, like where it's from each of Ellie's birthdays, like each year, like where she's 15 and then she's 16 and then 17. Like I thought that was pretty cool. Like where it starts off really positive and happy through each celebration, and then it gets to the celebrations that are not so happy and so, like positive, and it starts to become more heartbreaking as you progress through the end of that episode. And the way they show the flashback in the opening scene of that episode I wasn't expecting that. It's not something that we really needed, but I still was intrigued, where I'm like, oh, okay, cool, okay. And then with the whole, I hope you become a better dad than me, like where Joel's dad said that to Joel, And applause to the actor who played young Joel. I mean, he was spot on. Like right away when I saw these two young boys, well, I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like that's Joel and that's Tommy, right? And then you see what year it is, like Texas. That's Joel and Tommy. Oh, okay, interesting. And the way they threw in, like that addition to the porch scene was pretty cool. And to hear Joel say "I love you" to Ellie hit in a way that I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to hit me in such a way that it did. I mean, in the video game and then in the show up prior to this point, like Joel's actions screams those words. Like, look at how far he was willing to go. Like just because he loves this girl, like, that's basically his daughter. He killed fireflies and a doctor to keep, to save her. Like there's nothing that guy wouldn't do to keep that girl alive. So, I mean, it was still pretty cool. Like, like I said, he needs to get another award for this, for his performance in the show, for real. And if he doesn't, that's fucked up. Just because people are heavily criticized in season 2, come on now. But I think he will. I think he'll at least get nominated. But yeah, and I can see how it could rub people the wrong way. Like in the like when it gets to where Ellie turns 17 and he walks in on Ellie, like having a little bit of fun with, like, I guess what her name was, Kat or whatever. Like, okay, they're in her bedroom, they're giggling and whatnot, and you're like, whoa, and that's how Joe finds out that, Ellie is gay. And, but the fact that he took in everything, like, okay, this is happening, there's drugs, and, okay, they're smoking weed, then she's getting a tattoo, like, a lot to take in for a parent, I guess. But I feel like Joel took it a little too far when he said, like, we'll discuss this later when you start acting more like yourself or whatever. Like, yeah, that's something you probably don't want to say after you find out that your kid is, like, let's say if your kid, that's their sexuality or whatever. Like, it's a pretty hurtful thing to say. That's just not, I don't think that's something I would have said to my daughter if I found out that she, okay, she likes girls. I don't think I wouldn't say such a thing. But I don't know. I guess Joel was overwhelmed with everything thrown at him at once. It went in a whole nother direction than how he anticipated. But still, that was pretty wrong. And another fucked up thing he did is how he handled Eugene. Whereas, like, okay, I promise we'll send him back. And then he just goes behind Ellie's back and just goes blop. Shoots the guy. Like, he lets him get a good view or whatever, and then blop, blop, blop. Well, you get it. I would have said, I don't know, I feel like he should have handled it differently, but this is their way to help Ellie put 2 and 2 together. Like, okay, so you lied about Salt Lake or whatever with the fireflies. So I get that. But dang, that was a good fucking episode. Then we get to the finale. It's intense as fuck. It's cool how they brought Jeffrey Wright back as Isaac. He's a cool addition. And then we go from the Fireflies to Fedra. That was season 1, where those two groups are going at it. Now it's the Wolves, WOF, and the Seraphites, the Scars. A way more intense and way more tension-building type of war, where there's hardly any good sides. It's just fucked up versus fucked up. Man, oh man. When you hear the fucking whistling and then the arrows are flying, or if you go over to the wolves and then guns blazing, and then dogs sniffing you out and all that stuff. Man, oh man. Now with the finale, when it gets to it gets to an ending that tells The Walking Dead season 6, where they introduce Negan. Here, hold my beer. People were pissed about that ending. Now, here's an ending for The Last of Us fans to be pissed about, where they're building up to Ellie and Abby going toe-to-toe. There they go. Finally, it's there. And then cut the black. You hear a gun go off. Like, did Ellie die? Did she die? Come on. It's a fake out. They're not going to kill her off. I'm predicting that Dina like that was Dina shooting at Abby, like when we get back to that point. I mean, and then we're gonna probably see, well, we are gonna see with Abby in season 3, like through those 3 days in Seattle when Ellie and Dina were there. We saw Ellie and Dina during those 3 days. Now we're gonna see what Abby was up to during those 3 days, because she was hardly in the season. So this will fill in those gaps a bit. And hopefully they fill in a bit of gaps with Tommy, because he was hardly in there too. And then it was like hinted that he basically was attacking wolves or whatever. Like, oh, there's a sniper, blah, blah, blah. Like, I hope we see that in season 3. Where I think he probably killed Manny like he did in the game. Like maybe, or some other things. Like, it'd be cool to lean into that a bit. Like, look, we did it, okay? We did it. Like he did in the game. But time will tell. Man, we gotta wait like what, 2 years for season 3? Huh. I know. I feel your pain if everyone is pissed off about that, but dang, that is a long wait, especially when you end it the way you did, where people are speculating, is Ellie alive? Is she dead? Blah, blah, blah. She is. Come on, y'all. I'm calling it. I'll even bet money on that. She's fine. But man, they're just getting warmed up with part 2. Like, and apparently they need 2 more seasons to tell it completely. That's crazy. That's crazy. I wish it had more episodes, man. Hopefully season 3 hopefully season 3 has more episodes. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Feel free to share your thoughts on season 2. Did you like it? Did you think it sucks? It's just funny how, like people go from going like, like, I think it's funny how people were the very small criticisms of Abby were like, oh, where's the muscles? And yet half of these people were like, oh, Abby's ugly. I can't stand her. I don't want to see her on the show. I hate Abby. People were frustrated when they had to play her, like in the game, play as Abby in the game. I can just imagine what they were doing during those gameplays where they have her jump off the edge or whatever, or have other people shoot at her or whatever. Like, you did it. You did it. But, and then, man, yeah, I did, like enjoy season 2. I don't think it deserves really the hate that it's getting, but I get it. If you're that pissed about Joel, I'm devastated too. But it is what it is. The same thing happened with part 2, and people are gonna criticize season 3, and then we get to the conclusion. If it's anything like the video game, people are gonna they're gonna beat her on. They're gonna throw their arms up in the air for that as well. Like, if you don't like, if you know, like when they, like Ellie and Abby have their final throwdown, how it concludes, people are gonna be like, what the fuck? Why would she conclude it like that? That is some bullshit. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the whole thing, like with when Ellie encounters Owen and Mel, when we get to the pregnant discovery. Just when you thought it couldn't get more fucked up in the video game, they made it more fucked up. Oh my gosh. I did not know how that was gonna fly. Like, holy shit. Like, that's where I was really uncomfortable. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen? Like, what? Man. Man, oh man. But feel free to leave your comments on season 2. I'll see you guys in my next video.